Hello everyone, so this is lecture 27 of our subject digital system design, and the topic for today's lecture is programmable logic devices, in which we will be covering two programmable logic devices, that is ROM and PLA. So these are the contents. What are programmable logic devices? A basic introduction, and then ROM as a PLD and PLA. PLA stands for programmable logic array. We will be checking one by one both of them. So in recent times, when we are moving from small scale integration to medium scale integration, we will not be going to the very large scale and very large scale, but up to medium scale integration, these logic gates can be replaced by some more versatile logic blocks. So these logic blocks are, we can say that internally they will be having logic gates only, but instead of V connecting gates, there will be a set of gates which are already available in a block form. Okay. So that instead of making some complex connections between the gates, we will be making some simplified connections at the block level. Okay. So these are some blocks which are available to us as a programmable logic devices. So these are ROM, PLA, PL, CPLD and FPGA. So ROM, as we are very much aware of that, read-only memory, which is of different types, PROM, EEPROM, MASK-PROM. So all these are different type of ROMs. These are theoretical aspects of that, but we have to cover these things in terms of programmable as programmable logic devices. So from theory point of view, we are very much aware that read-only memory is the basic storage in which there can be different types. If we are able to erase that, then it becomes erasable programmable read-only memory. If we are not able to erase that, then it is only programmable read-only memory. And if it is masked by the manufacturer, and that neither we can write, neither we can write and neither we can erase, that means everything that has to be written in that memory has been written at the manufacturer's end, then it becomes mask programmable, MPROM, mask programmable read only memory, because it has been masked for further writing by the user. Okay. So this is basic of ROM. Then PLA, PL, both are interrelated. We will be covering them one by one. Then CPLD, although it is not in our syllabus, it is complex programmable logic devices, which will be combination of further the previous PLAs and PL like blocks. Okay. And then in the end we will be covering FPGA. So this FPGA and this PL, this will be the content of our next lecture. Okay. So for the time being, we will be focusing only on read only memory and then PLA, programmable logic array. So let's start with the read only memory. Okay. So read only memory consists of k input lines and n output lines. That means if my system requirements are such that there are k inputs and n outputs, for example full adder, there will be 3 inputs, 2 outputs. So k is equal to 3, n is equal to 2. Okay, something like this. So input lines are referred as address lines. So those input lines will be termed as address lines, and output lines are termed as data lines. So if there are k address lines, there are 2 raised to power k words. So if there are k address lines, then there are 2 raised to power k words, or these 2 raised to power k words can also be termed as there are 2 raised to power k products. Okay. And these products are generated by decoder. It is mentioned here, ROM can be viewed as a combination circuit with AND gates connected as decoder. So whenever we are designing any combination circuit, we basically need NOT, AND OR. These are the 3 basic gates by which we can design any simple circuit or a complex circuit. So those AND gates will not be used as separate components. Instead, those AND gates will be used as a part of a decoder. Okay. So this is the outer structure. There are k address lines, there are n data lines. Okay. So k address lines and data lines, and further what is the internal structure? This can be further broken down into this. So there are k address lines. These k address lines will be entering a decoder, which will be having 2 raised to power k AND gates. Okay. So it will be generating products. These will be the minterms. So out of those minterms, which minterms are to be added, that depends on my number of outputs. So if there are 2 outputs, or there are these, we can say there are n outputs, so there will be n OR gates in this structure, n OR gates. this can be seen in the next slide like this. So this we have seen, this was the overall picture of the ROM, then we converted this into this picture in which there was a decoder which was having 2 raised to power k AND gates, and further this thing can be understood as these are my decoder outputs. So these are decoder outputs, and at the output of the decoder there are OR gates. So which minterms need to be added? So if I want to add M0 plus M2, if I want to add M0 plus let's say M1, so M0 plus M1 if I want to perform, then I will close this switch and this switch, and this will be open. Similarly, if I want to perform M0 plus M2k minus 1, so in that case this switch will be closed, this switch will be closed, and this switch will be open. And in case I am only interested in M1, I need only M1, that means my third output is saying that y is equal to M1 only, I need not to add anything. So in that case this will be open, this will be closed, and this will also be open because I only need M1. Okay. So this is how we are going to make the programmable connections. So these OR gates are programmable now. Okay. Whenever we are preparing a logic device, programmable logic device, then we have to see which part of that logic device is programmable. That means user can program it according to the requirement. Okay. So and that programmability can be understood in terms of products or sum. So we can see that the products are not programmable at all. These 2 raised to power k AND gates are fixed because it is a part of the decoder. We cannot change the internal structure of the decoder. Okay. But that OR gate part is programmable. We can make or break these OR gate connections as per our requirement. So if we say what are the basic programmable characteristics of ROM, we can say that ROM is having a fixed AND array and programmable OR array. Okay. That means the inputs which are entering the AND array, we cannot control the functionality of the AND gates because AND gates are fixed inside the decoder, but we can control the programmable nature of the decoder outputs which are fed to the OR gates. That means programmability is only in the OR array. Okay. So this is the basic concept of ROM. Now we can use this concept to design any kind of circuit. So this is the general view of a programmed ROM. So after programming, how a ROM is going to look like. So this is a ROM which is having 5 inputs. Okay. 5 inputs are there and there are 8 outputs. And what is the relation? For 5 inputs we have to choose a decoder. Okay. Which decoder will be suitable for 5 inputs? That means that will be definitely will be the decoder which is having 2 raised to power 5 outputs. That means 5 cross 32 decoder is chosen. Okay. Which is having outputs from 0, 1, 2 up to 31. So 32 outputs are there. Okay. So out of those 32 products, decoder is generating the products only. Okay. If you go to the internal structure of the decoder, then that decoder is only the product of these inputs in various combination. That means it will be generating all possible minterms. Okay. So now whichever minterms are required by you as per your application requirement, you can simply choose those minterms and add them by using an OR gate. Okay. So this OR gate will be having 4 minterms. The 4 minterms are M0, M2, M3 and M29. There will be 4 product terms which are entering this D7. Similarly, you can check any other gate. If you check this one, you can check that D2, this is for D2, this is for D2. D2 is having 3 crosses which will is equivalent to this one, this and this. So if your output is D2 is equal to this first term 0 plus 1 plus 2, or we can say M0, M1 and M2, minterm 0, minterm 1, minterm 2. So these are the 3 minterms which further when added together will provide you the D2 output. So, similarly you can have any set of input and output. So, this is general programmed view of ROM. So, to have further clarity into the programming details of the ROM, now we will be preparing a separate circuit from scratch. Okay. So, let us say this is the question provided to us, which is saying design a combination circuit using a ROM that accepts a 2-bit number and generates an output number equal to the square of the input number. Okay. So, we have to check that what kind of connections are to be there, and first of all we have to choose the decoder size. So, for 2-bit number decoder will be 2 cross 4, okay, and that 2 cross 4 decoder 4 outputs have to be added depending on the truth table. So, we will be preparing the truth table for a 2-bit squarer. So, let us say 2 bits are A, B, and the square generated, let us say. So, first of all we have to check that how many outputs will be there, because the examiner has not given to me that for 2-bit number the square will be having this much bits. So, this you have to understand. So, square of 0 will be 0, that means minimum possible number square is 0, okay, and the highest possible square will be for this 1 1 3. So, 3 square is 9. So, 3 square is 9, and 9 requires 4 bits to in binary representation, that means 1 0 0 1, that means we will be having 4 outputs in this system. So, S3, S2, S1 and S0. I have used S because we are denoting the square, okay. So, 0 square will be 0, 1 square will be 1, 2 square will be 4 and 3 square will be 9. So, this is a table, okay. Now, I can check that S3 is equal to this 1 1. 1 1 corresponds to, if I denote this as M0, M1, M2 and M3. So, minterm, which minterm will be there? Third minterm. Similarly, S2 will be equal to, this corresponds to 2. Similarly, S1 there is no minterm, so S1 is equal to 0, and for S0 there are 2 terms, okay, there are 2 terms. For S0 there are 2 terms, which is 1 and 3, okay. So, 1 and 3. Now, I have seen that there are 2 inputs A and B and there are 4 outputs S3, S2, S1, S0. So, the program ROM structure will be something like this. There will be 2 cross 4 decoder. 2 inputs will be A and B and 4 outputs will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So, you can check that S3 we will be having 4 outputs. So, S3 it will be requiring a sum, okay. So, S3 that means this thing. Similarly, for S2 something like this. S1 is not connected anywhere. So, we can make some connection like this, okay. So, it is not connected anywhere. So, this is S3, this is S2, this is S1 and now S0 1 and 3, okay. So, this is 1 and this is 3. So, we have to erase this actually because this wire has become a bit long. So, this will be your S0, okay. So, in this way we can design any circuit using ROM, okay. First of all we have to convert that description into a truth table. From the truth table we will be able to easily identify the number of inputs and outputs, and those corresponding to those inputs we have to choose a decoder, and corresponding to the number of outputs we have to choose the number of OR gates. Okay. So, for further clarification, let us take one more example. Okay. Now, we are not provided with a description, we are provided that a ROM is to be used to implement the Boolean functions given below. That means 3 outputs have to be implemented, F1, F2 and F3. That means definitely there are going to be 3 OR gates. This is clear to me. Okay. A, B, C, D, that means there are 4 outputs. So, things are getting clearer. Okay. There are 4 inputs, that means the decoder size has to be 4 cross 16. So, let us take a 4 cross 16 decoder. The things which are getting clear, let us convert them into a circuit. So, 4 cross 16 A, B, C and D. There will be 16 outputs. So, these are 16 decoder outputs. This is 4 cross 16 decoder. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. So, these are the 16 decoder outputs. Now, let us check. We are also aware that there are going to be 3 OR gates. So, let us have 3 OR gates. So, these are going to be F1, F2 and F3. Okay. So, this is the outer picture. Okay. So, from that outer picture we can see that this F1 will be giving me 2 minterms corresponding to A, B, C, D, that means 1, 1, 1, 1 and this A bar, B bar, C bar, D bar, that means 0, 0, 0, 0. So, this becomes 0 and this becomes 15. So, ultimately it becomes M0 plus M15, which is also mentioned in this column. So, actually this is F1. So, I am using F1, this is F2 and this is F3. So, F1 is giving me, sorry, so F1, F2, F3 are correctly marked. Okay. So, this is F1 which is 0 and 15 and similarly F2, this A plus B, we have to convert this, we have to first convert it into canonical form and after converting into canonical form we can see that these are the set of minterms which will be generated by this, which are corresponding to, actually I am mentioning it here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 13, 15. So, these are the set of minterms which are generated by this, and for this we can check that there are 2 minterms 13 and 15, 13 and 15. So, the first function F1 is 0 and 15. So, I will be using 0 and 15. So, this is 0 and this is 15. Okay. Similarly, for F2 I am having 4, 5, 6, 7. So, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and then 13, 15. So, this is 13 and this is 15. And then for F1, sorry, F3 I am having 13 and 15. So, this is 13 and this is 15. So, in this way we can prepare any structure using ROM. Okay. So, let us move to the next programmable logic devices, which is PL. PLA stands for programmable logic array. Like in PROM or ROM, we had fixed AND array, programmable OR array, but PLA will be giving me flexibility in terms of AND array will also be programmable, OR array will also be programmable. That means there will not be a decoder now. We will be using separate AND gates as per my requirement. Okay, so there will be that same k inputs. Those k inputs will be entering the AND array. Now the AND array will be having multiple number of AND gates as per my requirement. Okay, so it will be generating the products, and those products will be summed by using OR array. And the best thing is both AND and OR array both are programmable now. Okay, so this is really going to help me in designing the circuits. So let's look at a clearer view of this PL, or we can say simplified view of a PLA, how this PLA is going to look like. So there are three inputs. Okay, three inputs are there, and these are actually denoting the negated version of the inputs and non-negated version. So this is actually something like this. This is, if this is A, then this thing is giving A bar, and this is giving A. We have to use this notation. Okay, so instead of having two wires and separate NOT gate for one wire to generate A bar, we are taking these two things from the single symbol. Okay, similarly for B, for C. So number of inputs, as many number of inputs are there, they will be converted into twice of the number. One the normal version, one the complemented version. So A, B, C are there, and A bar, B bar, C bar are also generated. So for these inputs, I have to check how many products are required. So that many number of AND gates. So k AND gates. So no, there are k inputs, and let's say there are p AND gates. So the number of programmable links here will be 2 raised to power k into p. 2 raised to power k, not 2 raised to power k, these k, 2 into k, actually these will be 2 into k, not 2 raised to power k, but 2 into k. Why 2 into k? Because there are k inputs and both are available in their complemented form as well. So we are using 2 into 2k into p programmable links here. Okay, and then those p AND gates and the number of OR gates. Number of OR gates are this. So if there are m OR gates, so the number of programmable links in this OR array will be p into m. Okay, and after those there will be some additional XOR based structures which are acting as conditional complement circuit. So if my circuit requires that I should be performing the complement of a number, okay, then these can be used. So if I have realized F bar and I need F, then I can use this, or if I have realized F and I need F bar, I can use this arrangement. So that this XOR gate we have already seen in our unit 1, it can act as control inverter. If we control one of the input of the XOR gate, we can use it as an inverter if that input is fixed to 1, and if that fixed input is 0, we can use it as a buffer. Okay, so let's proceed further, realizing logic functions using PLA. Okay, so this is the question given to me, F1 is equal to this, F2 is equal to this, and I am asked to prepare a PLA based circuit for this. So first of all, I have to prepare the truth table. So step 1 is preparing the truth table. So for these three inputs A, B, C, and these two outputs F2, F1, I have prepared the truth table. So from this truth table, minterms I have fed into the K map, but the thing which we have to take care is that we have to solve K map for the complemented outputs as well. So for F1, I have solved this K map, which is having minterms 3, 5, and 7. So 3, 5, and 7 is giving me this, and similarly for F1, there are three minterms. These are 4, 5, and 7. So 4, 5, and 7, which is resulting in this. But I have to solve the K map for F1 bar as well. So F1 bar, this is I am solving for F1 bar. Similarly, I will be solving for F2 bar as well. Okay. then F1 bar will be having 1 here, which will result in this thing. Okay. So this will be equivalent to, the output will be equivalent to A bar plus BC bar. So F1 complement will be equal to A bar plus BC complement. Similarly, F2 bar we have to solve. For this, 1 will be here. Okay. So for this, I will be having this pair, this quad. So it will be converting to C bar plus A bar B bar. So I have to check that which arrangement will be giving me minimum number of products. So between F1 and F2, I have to check products. So if F1 I am taking in true form, both are true, or F1 is true, F2 is false. False means complemented output. F1 is false, F2 is true, or both are false. So in this case we can check that AB bar, AC, AC, BC. Okay. So in this way, in this case I can see that AC is common in both F1 and F2. Okay. AC is common in both F1 and F2. So there are overall 3 products. But if I take F1 and F2 complement, then there is nothing common, then there will be 4 products. If I take F1 complement, okay, F1 complement, and this is F1, this is F2. If I take F1 complement, that is A bar plus BC bar plus F2 in true form, AC, BC, that means there is nothing common, then there will be 4 unique products. And if both are false, A bar plus BC bar, C bar plus A bar B bar, again there is nothing common. So this arrangement is giving me minimum number of products. That means F1 and F2 are to be used in their true form. So if any other combination would have given me the minimum number of products, I would have preferred that combination. So from that point of view, I have chosen that there are 3 products, AB bar, AC, BC. 1, 2, 3, 3 products are there. First product is having, this is the programming table. First product is having AB bar. So A is 1, B is 0, C is not there. Second product AC, A is 1, C is 1. Third product BC, B is 1, C is 1. Okay. And the first product F2, you can check that from here. F2 is AC plus BC. So this is AC plus BC, the second and third product. Similarly, F1 is having AB bar plus AC, that means first and second. And both F2 and F1 are in true form. Okay. They are not complemented. That means we will be not using XOR gates. So let's make the connections. There are 3 inputs. So there are 3 inputs, A, B and C. There are 3 products. First product is AB bar. So this is A and this is B bar, first product. And the second product is AC. This is A and this is C, second product. Then third product is BC. This is B and this is C. This is third product. And then, so these products are ready. Now F2 is the sum of second and third product. Okay. So second and third product will be giving me F2. And the first and this, first and second will be giving me, first and second will be giving me F1. And further, there are XOR gates which I am not going to use, so I will be connecting 0 to these inputs. So they will be remaining F2 and F1 only. So if I would have needed the complemented version of that, then I would have placed zeros on these XOR inputs. Okay. So in this way we can design any circuit using PLA. Okay. So with this we come to the end of the lecture. Thank you.